what's up, dudes? HW here. Dudes, you really do not need to be buying Kemper Profile packs, Tone-X capture packs, Quad Cortex Helix stuff. You don't need to buy all that stuff to get great tone. You heard at the beginning there, that little jam intro, that was one sound, one profile, and all I did was use some different guitars and use just some pedals, some effects, basically, to make it sound different. And that's really how I think about layering guitars, how I think about getting different sounds. Right now I use like a lot of modeling stuff live, and I definitely have like a clean and a clean with chorus and like a dirty, I've got like a bunch of sounds, but that's because it's easy to do right now. For years, I would play with just one great amp tone, like kind of, edge of breakup kind of thing. And I would use different guitars to get different sounds. And that's why I've always gravitated towards like Strats with humbuckers in the bridge, because you can get, single, out of phase, the bridge, you know what I mean? Like you could just get so many different things, use that tone knob. And then with some pedals on the floor, you could just get so much different stuff. So you don't need to be, I put a lot of stuff in the packs, of course, right? Like I put a lot of captures in the packs. But you don't need to be buying those. You can. I got 3 kids. Go buy all you want, right? Everything packed, $99. There, go ahead. But you don't need to, right? Because I really view the tone like this, like, it's the amp tone and it's everything in the guitar, and then everything else is just the color on top, right? So here's one of the tones you've heard. I'm going to show you a couple of the tones you heard at the beginning there and show you how just one great amp profile is really kind of all you need to build your sound. By the way, this sound was free. I sent it to everybody's email. So if you get our emails, great, you got it. If not, link in the description. You can download it. This is like my favorite one. I always try to give away my favorite sound from the packs, just because, put your best foot forward, I guess. But check it out. Here's a Strat. This is not a Strat. This is a Tele. And it's in like this, it's in like the series position here. All right, that's a great sound. I love that. You heard that sound at no point in the beginning because I was using some other effects to get different sounds, because that just being like an overdrive sound like that, I was already doing that with another guitar that I'll show you. And by the way, I'm trying to use stuff that's not very expensive. So like that was a Harley Benton, a Squier bass, and this is a Mexican Tele. And it's a great Tele, by the way. Fender gave me this guitar, and it's actually a really great guitar. I was really impressed when I got it. How good these Mexican Teles are, and this series. This is like the vintage modified series. Anyway, okay, enough of that. Here's what I was playing. I threw some chorus on this thing, right? And I knew I was going to play up high, so this is all you were hearing. Then I turned on a boost and a little tube screamer. And the tube screamer is like, I'm doing this trick where it's kind of like a sparkle drive, because I've got the mix turned down on it. So it's not very aggressive. So then it sounds like this. Now that is a lot of effects and stuff, and that's fine. The chorus and everything just are going to give it a different kind of like place to sit. It's going to sound like a different voice, and this is not the type of sound you would play by itself. And it's the type of thing where, like, okay, you could download a profile pack, you get a new pedal, and this, I'm never going to like be like, I'm never gonna be like, yeah, that's my main sound, but it fits when you start doing stuff with other guitars. You need things to sound different. So you know what I mean? You just want it to sound different. It's a little on the darker side with that boost and the tube screamer. It's warming stuff up, but it sounds good. And all I'm doing is I'm just trying to sound different because we're coloring this great. We have a great sound, but we're coloring it, and the guitar's coloring it. The effects are coloring it, and we just want it to sound different than this guitar right here, which is just like a cheap Harley Benton. It's like a $300 thing, you know, Les Paul type of thing, and you know, the neck pickup isn't even working. It's like has no output. I don't know what I did to it, but it's like not working. Turn off all the chorus, and you get like kind of the main sound. But all I did was I put a boost on it because I just wanted to be a little more aggressive, right? So then with this, same sound, same amp, HW. It shouldn't be, these shouldn't be the same amp. How are you gonna make two different guitars sound different? Don't you need another profile? Don't you need another thing? We got a different guitar. We got a different guitar, different effects. We're not putting a tube screamer on. That's sufficiently different. You know what I mean? You know, didn't play that part there, but that's all that I'm doing there to get this sound. And this is a really cool sound. I mean, listen to it by itself, just the profile here. Quite a bit more breakup than the Tele because we're using different guitars. We can kind of get a little twang out of it, but if I want to clean it up, why not? See, can't use the neck pickup because it's broken. Who cares? You know, just goofing around, but turn that all the way up. You know what I mean? And little boost just rocks that out. That's like turning the amp up, man. A little more, I mean, that's just like getting higher output pickup. That's just a clean boost. So to me, it's like you gotta like find your tone, and you gotta like do some experimenting and figure out how am I gonna get these different sounds, because you want to use effects and you want the sound of your guitar to change kind of with the dynamics of the song, right? That's where, to me, I've found you really start to create like compositions. You know, you'll notice in that intro jam, if you go back and listen, not only are the dynamics changing, right? You've got like, you've got like that feel, that driving, eighth note feel. But it's not just that. Like the bass has dynamics, but the bass sound is staying the same. To me, the role of the guitar is dynamically you want to change things, but you also want to change your sound with the dynamics. And this is something I really, really try to do with the guitar and with the effects. You can do it with an amp too. But, a lot of verse 2, a lot of verses and stuff, I might be using the a Stratocaster with a single coil in the neck, or I might be going to that out of phase, and the chorus is going to be more rocking. But when I want to come, and do like something like this, I'm not really going to have the right sound for this right now, but and I want to be like, I'm going to go out of phase for that. You know what I mean? But then I might jump to a chorus, and it's just going to be all out, like, Now, see, with one pickup working in this guitar, it's harder to do, right? But you get the idea. Dynamically you can play differently, but even just switching to your fingers, different effects, and that's to me really how you create a sound. If you go back and listen to that intro jam again, you'll hear you have this aggressive guitar, and it's there and it's in your face, and then boom, you've got like panned on the other side a much lighter guitar, and it just makes the sound bigger and thicker when they play together. And that telly with the chorus and with that Tube Screamer is not an aggressive sound, but overall, that sounds like a rock jam. It sounds like an aggressive song because you've got aggression in there, and the job of the other guitar is not to just max out the aggression, it's to find a different sound to play along with it. And it finds its own voice, its own tone, and you didn't even need another capture or profile or whatever to do it. You just needed some composition. You just needed for the parts to be dynamic, for the parts to sort of change, and as the parts change to lend to the dynamicism, the dynamics of the song, you're using effects to emphasize when we're going to come way down and way up. Other instruments have little different roles, you know what I mean? The drums and the bass, the rhythm section, they really, really have to dial in with the dynamics. Guitar players actually can rely a lot more on compression, effects. You have to be a dynamic player, of course. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the drums usually don't all of a sudden turn on a bunch of reverb to change their sound. No, they come down. The best thing they're going to be able to do is like close a hi-hat, play a ride, closer to the middle, and maybe some rim shots. There's stuff they can do, but that's dynamics that's their dynamics, how hard they hit and stuff. For a guitar player, we have all of this color and stuff we can layer on top, and that's really what makes iconic tone and music. It's not oh my gosh, this record is made because the AC30 was at this setting with this thing, right? And that's one of the reasons too, like lately I've been doing like this Rect 86 is not even a real amp. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But I basically took a real amp. I took a couple train wrecks, and I did some experimenting, and then I ran a couple different preamps in front of them, an AC style preamp and like a JTM 45 style preamp, all with EF86s, or both with EF86s. And then it's just a fun, amalgamation of, or a fun like invention of like, what if a train wreck had EF86s? It might sound something like this. It might be two channels, one more AC style like the Rocket, and one more old Marshall-y style, maybe kind of like the Express, but not really, but just what if it was more plexi, and what if it was more AC? And there's a lot of great tones in there, but it's funny, as I get a sound like this, if I sit and just make sounds by itself, I really rely on that amplifier to do all the, oh, is it this dynamic or this dynamic, or the, is it this, how touch sensitive is it? How much treble is it? Is it just bright enough? Is it the 3K? Is there a little ear fatigue? Is there, what's going on at 5K? But as soon as you get like in a mix, that stuff, it starts being more about being a little more heavy-handed with the EQ and going, what do I need from this guitar? And by the way, there's no EQ on those guitars you heard at the top. It's because I didn't want to do that. I would have if I wanted to sound its best, to be honest with you. I would have polished it a little more. But I wanted to show that you can make it sound different with just the tools you have, with a humbucker, in a Les Paul, and a series switch on the Tele, and chorus, and a boost, and tube screamer, and you get guitar voices that, with the right composition, can sound just different and come together and make a great song. So, I mean, think about that. Go, okay, now I'm going to shameless plug, right? Both of those choruses I dialed in because I was working on some music as I made this pack. They're both the default choruses that are in there on the Kemper pack. The boost and the tube screamer, everything you heard is right out of the Kemper pack. So if you like these effects too, go ahead and buy the Kemper pack. Yeah, go ahead. So now I'm contradicting myself. But my point is, it's how you use this stuff. So, you should be able to pull up any AC30 style thing and, get something that sounds like this, Actually, this is quite a bit more rockin' than like a traditional AC30. So your miles may vary, but that's kind of what I think.